time to time surface, and the current one that is circulated in Jonesboro, I think it has 134 signatures, was presented by Professor Merritt. We need to help our administrators, our presidents of these universities and colleges, as well as our chancellors, so that they can actually push back and say, we will not be encouraged to break federal law. But I would also say this bill, not only does it focus on those four things, but it also reminds us that our focus, if we do enact this law, that it will focus on the criminal elements that may be on our campus. And so we say, well, but we're dealing with those now. But if we establish a formal sanctuary status on our campuses, that would all change. And let me just read a couple of things that are mentioned in the petition. First, it asks that ASU be declared a sanctuary campus that will actively refuse to comply with immigration authorities regarding deportations and raids. Committee, that's just wrong. When we move ourselves to be above the law, to encourage and actively refuse to comply with federal law, we're running the risk of creating unintended consequences, problems, and it will impact our institutions of higher education. Secondly, Professor Merritt's petitioners ask ASU to protect student privacy and not release any information regarding immigration status to any government agency. When I read that, I thought, you know, students are already protected from that. Why do we want to put ourselves out there as being aggressive and hostile against a nation that's been good to us as citizens, to say that we will not release immigration information if there is a problem? And just for sake of argument, I periodically am approached by the Office of Personnel Management when maybe a former colleague of mine or battle buddy, I would say, goes up for having their security clearance renewed. And so the FBI will contact me and they'll say, hey, Dr. Smith, can we come see you? We want to sit down and talk about so-and-so, and kind of we're looking at renewing their security clearance. Those men and women drive over from Memphis, Tennessee, and I usually meet with them somewhere in Jonesboro. And sometimes I'll say, well, I sure hated that you came over all that way just to talk about one person or two people. And they usually say, no, we also need to run by the campus over here and just talk with folks and make sure that student visas are up to date. So they're already checking a lot of this. And then to say, we're going to totally avoid complying with that, it's illegal. And then finally, the petition asks to create an undocumented student program, which all of a sudden now we're wanting to document our undocumented. That doesn't make sense. Asked to create an undocumented student program with a full-time director, free on-campus access to legal counsel, and funds available to assist undocumented students, faculty, and staff. Now, let's just be pragmatic for a second. Right now, we probably have quite a number of undocumented students on our campuses. In every case that I've met with these protesters, which I really respect, and they've been very polite to me publicly and in one-on-one meetings, I've got to tell you, my comments to these folks repeatedly has been, we're not opposed to you being here, but you just need to stay out of the crosshairs. Don't let some national or statewide organization use you for their selfish gain for a media moment. But when you allow them to put you on the nightly news or your picture in the newspaper with your name in the caption, and you're holding a poster that says, "I'm an illegal. I want to stay at my university." When you do that, you set yourself up to be instantly rounded up in many of those instances. And what's going to happen? Folks like Dr. Merritt or Professor Merritt, she's going to go on with her daily life and teach and instruct and misguide other students. You're going to be deported, and she's going to hold on to her job because she has no skin in the game. You're the ones that are at risk, not me. But I can tell you right now, if you stay off the radar, don't break our laws, as I have mentioned numerous times in the last 2 weeks, go to your classes, get your degree, go be successful, and make us proud as well as your family members proud. But federal immigration law changes at the federal level, not at the state. And so instead of being a puppet where people are good and crafty with their language to incite you to do something and bring attention to yourselves, that is absolutely wrong. And so